Again, Juliet here. Today we are doing Highfield branch library and the surrounding area. Nice plaque there which reads, "This stone was laid by Councillor John W. Roberts, Chairman of the Blackpool Library and Art Gallery Committee, 29th of October 1936. So, Highfield Library opened next to the Grundy recreation ground, and basically that was 1936. The library, alas, was closed on the 15th of October 2004, taken over by South Shore Community Association and the Early Years Childcare Team. They initially used the site as training facilities for local carers, but in September of 2018 the South Shore Committee was granted a 5-year lease for the building. The centre now offers classes in many subjects and home to several societies and clubs. Obviously not at the minute. Let's have a look. So I've always known this as Highfield Park, and then when I started to look further at the Grundy recreation ground, I did find out some rather interesting information. To do a little bit more here. As a child, so many years ago, I also attended here. My nana and granddad, Frank and Elsie Gregson. Here we go. Let's have a look. Here we are. Now, this bit here, I remember as a bowling green. And obviously, as the years have progressed, it's not the case now. We've still got a bowling green, but it's here. And it's enclosed now. Reason for that? Well, I would have to ask the Highfield Road group about that. I'm sure there's a good reason. To protect the green, perhaps? I remember being chased by the parkie from here. Anyway, let's have a quick look. Another bowling green. Now, for obvious reasons, I'm not going to film with children, but I remember on this bit there was 3 roundabouts, swings, slides, this red horse thing that you could snap your fingers off. So many people would know there's houses here. What you probably don't know, let's have a little bit of a walk. My late grandparents used to live next door but one, on St Martin's Road, Frank and Elsie, so they could look out of the back bedroom, make sure I was alright, check up on me basically. Happy days. What you won't be able to see very well, but just a little bit, is caravans and allotments. These are still tennis courts, spruced up a bit, but I remember that we used to have 3 of these. Worth noting, in 1914, Cuthbert Grundy was presented with a ceremonial key by the corporation on the opening of the Highfield Road branch reading room and public recreation grounds on the 13th of August. Now, if you're thinking the Grundy name sounds awfully familiar, You of course will be correct. 1911, the Grundy Art Gallery opened next to the library, funded by John and Cuthbert Grundy. And apparently Cuthbert personally invited all the Blackpool library staff to his residence in Lytham Road for supper and to receive a silver table vase as a memento of the notable day. Probably going to have a quick walk up to Lytham Road and hopefully be able to film the Grundy House Museum, which is now a private house. Always a busy park and always very popular. Spent many hours here as a child. In 1902, South Shore Bowling Club was formed on the 18th of March on Green Avenue off Highfield Road and was formally opened on the 15th of July by Dr. Cocker. Its green is one of the biggest in Lancashire. It was at the time of its inauguration, and most bowling greens were attached to pubs, public houses, which were considered places of low resort. For obvious reasons. The cat can go and look. Hello. But I can't. I'm not going to trespass for obvious reasons. But it looks massive. If you remember, let me know if there's any more history I can add to this, or if I'm allowed to come and say hello again. And hopefully the blokes aren't doing the roof. Never knew this was here. Anyway, this is where I cheat a bit. Let's see if this works. Not the best, but that's the best you're going to get at the minute. That's all I'm allowed on. All of my travels down back alleys, came across this. Couldn't find any information on Highfield Ladies Bowling Club at all. Viewers, can you help? Well, this is round the other side of Highfield, and as I'm going to show later on, as I mentioned, I've got a slide which my dad took David, which just shows land. While walking around, I came across a lovely gentleman who said, "Come up the stairs so you can have a look." So I did, and here we are. Isn't that green absolutely stunning? Be interesting to come back when it's open. I think maybe have a chat with the ladies, or have some more information, please. The gentleman as well mentioned that he remembers these as allotments. Here we are on Lytham Road, Grundy House Museum. The Home Art Museum opened in 1949 in Cuthbert's old house at 456. Lytham Road, the museum boasted a ship's cannon and a new inn on the South Beach. By then it was known as Grundy House Museum. It closed in 1980, taken over by Arnold School as a girls' boarding house, and now later it's a private house once more. If this is your house, your houses, stunning. I wish I'd gone in, but I didn't. And if we look very carefully, You can just see Grundy House there. And there we go. Thanks as always, Nick Moore, Blackpool History, Alistair, In Or Media, Mike Coyle, Falco's WordPress. I'm going to put some website details at the end, and I'm going to do some short stills at the end of this video because I've been given some aerial shots and some old shots of Highfield Park. So again, thank you very much indeed for watching, everybody.